Good morning, students. Today I am going to discuss the chapter 2, Migration Types, Causes and Consequences from book 2, India, People and Economy of class 12th Geography. First, we should know what is migration. Migration is basically when the people move from one place to another place. So the first part of this topic, that is regarding Indian diaspora. There were the three waves of Indian diaspora when the people they migrated from India to other countries. The first wave, that was during colonial periods when millions of endangered laborers were sent to Mauritius, Fiji, South Africa to work as plantation workers, because the Britishers they had introduced plantation agriculture in the different parts of the world. So for that they needed labor. So from India and the other parts of the country they sent laborers to these country to work as a plantation laborers. Endangered laborers are basically those laborers, their conditions was like the slaves, but they were not for lifelong period. They were for some specific time bond period, and they were sent to different countries under Gimmick Act. Gimmick Act was basically the Indian Immigration Act. So the difference between endangered laborers and slaves is basically that endangered laborers were sent for specific time period and the slaves are for lifelong period. The second wave of migrants that was sent to the neighboring countries, and these mostly comprises the professionals, artisans, traders, factory workers, and they were sent to the different neighboring countries like Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, and the African countries. And that was basically because of the oil boom which was occurred in Western Asian and the Arabian countries, and these people they also needed labor for the drilling of oil. And the third wave that comprises mostly professionals like doctors, engineers, management consultants, financial experts, and these people they migrated basically to the USA, Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand and Germany. And these are basically the highly educated people, and they went to the other countries only for the better professional opportunities and for the better employment opportunities, for the salary reasons also. And after liberalization in 90s, education and knowledge based Indian immigration that become the major part of Indian diaspora. So migration was recorded from the first census only, which was conducted in 1881. Now I want to clear what is census. We all know after 10 years in India we count total population of the country, and that process is called census. And the first census of India that was conducted in 1881, and at that time only the migration was recorded. Earlier, the migration was recorded only on the places, on the basis of the place of birth. Means if you shifted from your place of birth to another place, it means you are migrated person. But there were the certain modifications were occurred in 1961 census. Two additional components that were also included in this process. The first was the place of birth, and second is the duration of the residence. Means if you are not resident at the place of birth during the time of census, it means you are not you are a migrated person. And second, in 1971, the additional information that was on the basis of the last residence and duration of stay at the place of enumerations that were also introduced. Means there are the two, I just want to clear. One, suppose your birthplace is Ambala, and secondly you shifted to Karnal, and at the time of the enumeration that you shifted to some other place post New Delhi. It means you are migrated from your place of birth to Karnal, and Karnal to Delhi, and Karnal is your place of last residence. And in the 1981 census there were the certain modifications also introduced, that is the reasons for the migration from place of residence to last residence to the present place where you are staying at present. So there are the three places, A, B and C. A is your birthplace, B is your place of last residence, and C is where at present you are residing. So the following questions are asked when the census enumeration is done, and the people ask you the certain questions like, is the person born in this village or town? If no, then they ask which place, which district, which state is your birthplace. And second, has the person come to this village from elsewhere? If you came from some other place and your answer is yes, then they ask the certain other questions like, which is the place of your last residence, in which district it is, and in which state it is. In Census of India, migration is enumerated only on two basis. First is on the place of birth. If the place of birth is different from the place of enumeration means your place or the process in which the counting of population is done. Second is on the basis of the place of residence. If the place of last residence is different from the place of enumeration, that person is known as migrate by the place of last residence. Means, if again I am telling you, if your birthplace is A and your last residence is B, and at the time of enumeration you are at the place C. So if you shifted from A to B, it is your lifetime migrant. And if you shifted from A to B and then C, then your migration is the place of last residence. There are four streams of migration. First is rural to rural, second is rural to urban, third is urban to urban, and fourth is urban to rural. Mostly in India, the migration occur from rural to urban. But among females, the migration is mostly from rural to rural. Means after marriage, the females, they shifted from one village to another village. 81 millions were interstate and intrastate migration. Here I want to explain you what is interstate and intrastate. Interstate means if you migrate from one state to another state, means from Punjab to Haryana. And intrastate means when you migrate within Haryana only, within one state only. So mostly the people, they migrate within their own state, especially the females. And the main reason for the female migration is marriage, and among males the main reason is employment opportunities. These are the interstate migration. The table has been given to you. You can see the table. Among males and females, the differentiate is also given. Like you can see, the females number is more in the intrastate migration, and in interstate migration you can see the males are more. In rural to rural streams, females, they are outnumber males, but in other streams you can see they are at par, or at some places like rural to urban, the males number is higher than the females. This is regarding the variations in the migration, means in the some states the migration is more, in some states the migration is rate of migration is less, like Maharashtra, Delhi, Gujarat, Haryana, Punjab. They have more migrant people from Uttar Pradesh, Bihar. They have given the data, like they have given the example of Mumbai also. Delhi, basically the urban agglomerations and the mega cities, they have more people from the other states and the districts. It is the biodata, it is the data which is given. Now basically what are the causes of the migration? There are the two factors, push factors and pull factors. Push factors which are forcing us to move to another place. For example, unemployment or lack of facilities. That is the main reason the people, they move from one place to another place. And pull factor means the factors which are attracting us. Like in the urban areas, the people, they have more facilities, more sources for the employment. So the people from the other places, they move to urban areas. Like most of the people, they are moving towards Delhi, towards Mumbai. The reason is that they have more facilities, they have more opportunities for their personal growth. So that's why they are moving towards those places. So push factors are basically those factors which are forcing us to move their place of birth to another place. And pull factors are the attracting factors. Because of those reasons, we are moving towards those places. These are the causes of the migrations. You can see the pull factors as well as the push factors. These are the certain basic questions you can see. Now the main part of this chapter, that is regarding the consequences of migration. This is the important part of this chapter, and mostly the in board exams also the students, they get the questions from this topic. Now they have given the 4 consequences: economic, demographic, social and environmental. So firstly we will discuss about the economic consequences. We migrate from one place to another place just for the basically for the economic reasons. So for example, if we are migrating to other countries, like people, they are moving towards Canada, towards Australia, for what reason? For money. So that money which they send from those countries to their parents or towards their families, that is called remittance. So international migrants, they sent remittance to their families, and their families, they use that money for the different reasons. For example, they use that money for the repayment of their debts, for the treatment, for the marriage, for the child's education, for the agriculture purpose, or for the construction of their houses. And secondly, that remittance is very much important for our country also, because the maximum foreign exchange we are getting from these migrants only. Like they have given example, in 2002 India receives US $11 billion as the remittance from the international migrants, and basically they are from Punjab, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Just like the people from Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, Odisha, West Bengal, they shifted to the another states like Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, Mumbai, Maharashtra. So they also send the money to their families, and their families also use that money for the different reasons. It means that money is very much important for their families, and they use that money for the growth and for the welfare of their families. Second is demographic consequences. Demographic consequences, which means with the consequences which is affecting our population. First effect is the distribution of population that is affected due to migration, because the people, if they are moving from Odisha or Bihar to Punjab, it means the Punjab's population is increasing. And second thing, the age structure is also affecting because of the migration. Mostly the migration, the people who migrate from one place to another, they belong to 15 to 59 age group, which is a working population. It means the working population is increasing at the one place, and another place the population of that group is decreasing. And it also affects the sex ratio also. Mostly we know that in India the migration is basically male selective. Suppose the males from Bihar, they are moving towards Punjab, it means in Punjab the number of males is increasing, and it is affecting the sex ratio of Punjab also. So in Punjab and Haryana, basically because of the reason for the low sex ratio is that also, because the people, especially the males, they are moving from Bihar and other states towards Punjab and Haryana. So migration is affecting the distribution of population, migration is affecting our age structure, and migration is affecting our sex ratio of the country. Third is social consequences. Social consequences means if the people, they are coming from the rural areas towards the urban areas, and they see in the urban areas there are many new concepts, like concepts regarding the girls education, family planning, more technology they can see the better opportunities, new ideas they get. So they use those ideas in their own places also, in the rural areas also, because if the one person is staying at the urban area, it will affect the idea of that person basically, and he will apply that ideas in the rural areas also. And secondly, migration leads to the intermixing of the culture also. Like at present we can see in Punjab also, we are having we are enjoying the South Indian food just because of the intermixing of the culture. But because we can see that most of the South Indians also, they are staying in Punjab and Haryana, so it is helpful for the intermixing of the culture also. Secondly, it widens up the mental horizon of the people. But it has certain negative consequences also, because if you are shifting to another place and you feel that there is no one is from your family, you don't have any friend, you don't have any person who belongs to your culture, you don't know how to how to converse with these people, so you feel you had the feeling of dejection at that time. And because of that, you sometime the people, they fall in the trap of anti-social activities. The people, they start using drugs, and they indulge in the crimes also sometimes. Next is environmental consequences. We can see the condition of the urban areas. There is lot of pollution, air pollution also. We can see the slums in the urban areas also. We can see the problems like the depletion of groundwater, disposal of sewage, management of solid waste. That is just because of the overcrowding, because many people, they are shifting from rural areas to urban areas, and sometimes the cities are not able to accommodate such large size of the population, and that's why the cities and the urban areas, they are facing such problems. There are certain other consequences also, especially the women are facing these problems. The women, directly or indirectly, the marriage is the main reason for their migration. In rural area, the male selective migration, out migration, leaving their wives behind, put extra physical as well as the mental pressure on the women. We can see the mostly the males, they shift from rural areas to urban areas, and their families, they left their families behind. And at that time, the females are the main, they are playing the main role in the family. So it puts more physical as well as the mental pressure on the woman. Migration of women, like now we can see most of the females, they are becoming educated and they are doing the jobs also. Sometimes they are shifting to the urban areas and they are staying all alone in the big cities. Sometimes it increases the rate of vulnerability of the females also, means they are facing certain problems in the urban areas. They sometimes they don't feel secure in the urban areas. One point more is there, if the remittance are the major benefit of the migration, but there is the loss of the human resources also, there is brain drain also. So are people who are educated, the country spend lot of money on their education, and now those people, they are doing work for the other country. It means we are facing that problem of the human resources also. These are the reasons which are given for the migrations of female and male. These are the effects of the migration, good as well as bad impacts of the migration. Student, this is the assignment and some important questions from this chapter. And in the last, I have given some one link also. You can see the extra questions related to this chapter. So this is your assignment. Thank you so much.